My friends, it's Jonathan Budd, and welcome to the most important Rippln video that you seriously might ever watch. And the reason why is because this is the video that will explain in brief our vision. And as an entrepreneur, then we all know that it is our vision which really dictates our future and dictates the size of what we're going to be able to achieve. And so the more you understand the Rippln vision and the more you can actually share the Rippln vision with your team and with the marketplace in general, the more power that you're actually going to have to create enormous results with Rippln. And the reason being is that the vision is truthfully huge. And when people really get the vision and they really understand what we're doing and where we're going, it's almost intoxicating to be a part of. It's such a possibility conversation. There's really no other conversation existing like this in the world. And it's the type of conversation that really magnetizes and attracts people into it once they really understand what we're doing. So, what is the Rippln vision? To put it simply, it's to transform how the distribution of products take place around the world and reward you, the end driver of distribution, for the value that you create in the marketplace. So one more time, it's to transform how the distribution of products take place around the world and reward you for the value that you create in the marketplace. Now, let me explain a little bit more about what that means. We literally see a world, we see a platform where hundreds of millions of people are part of the Rippln platform. Hundreds of millions of people have signed up to track how their social graph spreads across the world. And out of those hundreds of millions of people, the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are taking place inside that network are being tracked and rewarded, and the profits shared with the people who built the distribution in the first place, the people who shared all those apps and who built the Rippln in the first place. And that's really it in a simple way to describe it. Because if you look at the world right now and you look at what's taking place, we the consumers have driven the marketplace. We've driven Facebook to 1 billion users. We've driven Instagram to 100 million users. We've driven YouTube. We've driven all of the most popular technology sites and companies in the world, and yet we're not getting rewarded for any of that value, even though we're the drivers. And so Rippln really sees a new way to distribute products, where instead of a hot new app coming to market, and let's say they go to Silicon Valley and they raise $5 million of venture capital, and they go and they build a cool new app, and they take $4 million of those dollars and they just put it right into advertising, right? They put it into user acquisition, which is what it's called. Well, instead of that traditional model, which is how companies, who have hot ideas and cool new technologies, that's how they come to market. Instead of doing that, what if we, the people, became the distribution arm? And what if we were incentivized, meaning we got rewarded to share the coolest new apps coming to market, and a piece of the revenue, a piece of the money that takes place from within those apps, we're now actually having the chance to get paid for. We have the chance to get paid on based on who we referred to the app and based on our ripple effect once the app went viral. And it's a really simple concept that we think could change the game for how distribution of apps and products and services and websites takes place around the world. And at the core of it, it then becomes about, what is the nature of these apps, and can we curate the coolest content on the planet? Meaning, can we curate and bring to market the new Instagrams, the hot new apps, the hot new ideas? Can we aggregate the best apps out there, the best content out there, and all of a sudden, we the people are literally bringing to market the coolest new apps on the planet through Rippln, because Rippln tracks our sharing. It tracks how we share. It tracks our social graph, and it tracks the value that we're creating. It tracks the rewards that we have the chance to participate in. And it's for all these reasons that we really think that this is a movement, not a company. It's a movement, not a company. And we see hundreds of millions of people rebuilding their social graph on the top of a platform that rewards them for it. And there's really no limit to where we can go with this vision. What if one day we want to become our own social network, And instead of the billions of dollars flowing through just the hands of the advertisers, and the manufacturers, and the social, like Facebook, right? Instead of billions of dollars just flowing through the hands of those people, what if you got rewarded? You got a piece of that money shared back with you because you were the person who invited others to the social network to begin with, right? It's truly limitless, infinite possibility where we can take our platform. Rippln is just the start. What we're doing right now is just the start. And, if you think about all the ways that companies monetize the social graph, I mean, seriously, think about it. Think about all the ways Facebook currently monetizes its social graph, from advertising to products to hard good commerce to, revenue shares with other companies, to all the different ways that anyone can monetize the social graph. If you can literally see into the future and envision you actually getting paid a piece of all of that monetization because of the people that you invite to the Rippln platform right now, that's what we're up to. And as we get stronger and our technology teams get more robust and our revenue increases and all these different things, the potential of Rippln and what we're going to be able to build over the next 12 months, 24 months, and 36 months is truly mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, but I believe we're at the start of one of the largest movements in the tech and social entrepreneurship world that anyone's ever seen. And this, to me, is fundamentally a movement by the people for the people, where we're going to not only reclaim the value in our social graph, but we're going to become social entrepreneurs, what we call socialpreneurs, and start being able to build a business so easily and simply just by sharing Rippln, right from our mobile phones, a business that allows us to get rewarded for the value already taking place within our network. So this is a really incredible time, and it's an incredible vision that Rippln is really putting forth in the world, and we're just so excited that we're all actually a part of it. We're the origin, the pioneers of this vision. It's an incredible time period. So what problem are we solving? And I think anytime you look at a tremendous opportunity in the world and something that I know I want to be a part of, I always look at what is the big problem that's being solved. And I think there's a tremendous amount of problems that Rippln's actually solving. I'm just going to touch upon a few here. First and foremost, there's no transparency in the marketplace. And because there's no transparency, no one is being properly rewarded for their value. And we think this is a big problem. For instance, if you look at, Facebook or Instagram or a lot of these big companies, which we keep referencing, nobody has any transparency into how much they've actually driven the growth of these companies. And I think that if consumers had transparency for just how valuable they were and just how much value they're driving in the marketplace, it would honestly change our perspective. It would change the paradigm. And that's what Rippln is up to. That's what Rippln is creating. And so first and foremost, we're solving the problem of no transparency, and we want to give people total transparency into the exact amount of value that you're creating. And hopefully this will be inspiring for so many reasons. For those of us who are already very engaged in the marketplace and sharers of content and apps and products and services, we're going to have the chance to get amply rewarded for what we're already doing. And for those of us who have some ambitions to possibly, step it up more or participate more, we're going to be able to have the ability to drive our social influence bigger, to learn how to create more social influence. See, Rippln isn't just a static platform. This is also a live community. This is an educational opportunity for every single person who participates. I mean, you're going to get one of the greatest educations I believe you've ever gotten in your life. From being part of this community, your social influence is going to increase, your aptitude and your skills are going to increase, your knowledge, your wisdom is going to increase, your understanding of the marketplace of business today is going to increase. I mean, there's so much of an educational value here, it's not even funny. So anybody, no matter who you are, if you want to engage in the Rippln business and really build your own social business, no matter where you are, you can start from nothing. And through Rippln, we're really going to be able to teach and show people how to go out there and make an impact and really, build a team and grow their social graph and grow their ripple effect all over the world, and actually have the chance to get paid an incredible income, and an income that really changes your life from those efforts, from engaging with us. So, that's a huge problem in and of itself that we're solving in the world, which is a massive education about, what the current trends are in the marketplace. And then you look at, the socioeconomic factors in the marketplace right now, themselves, and all of a sudden you can see that I think Rippln is the future of business models. I mean, we are the type of company that needs to exist in the future to really bring our economy back to its full potential and to really help create, new incomes for people in a world where the traditional avenues that we've relied on for decades just aren't cutting it anymore. And the jobs after college, that market is abysmal right now. I mean, what kind of opportunity are we providing for the future generation? What kind of hope and inspiration are we giving them? And it's unbelievable, because that generation is more disenfranchised with the traditional outlets at their disposal than any generation has ever been. Yet at the same time, what's so remarkable, and if you grasp this vision, it as well could change your life and change your income forever. There's never been a generation that's as entrepreneurial motivated as the one coming up. In fact, I was just reading a recent report on the millennials, which is what they call Gen Y, and 66% of every millennial surveyed considered themselves an entrepreneur, or considered themselves to have entrepreneurial values, and wanted to either be an entrepreneur or work inside of companies and cultures that were highly entrepreneurial. They all chose freedom and the entrepreneurial values over security. It's the first time in history the numbers have ever been that high. And so again, if you look at what Rippln represents, I mean, that's what we are at our core. We are social entrepreneurs. We are movers and shakers, trendsetters out there, blazing a new path, creating new distribution models and new reward mechanisms for how we can meet our financial needs. And this was destined for the generations that are coming up. I mean, they grew up with iPhones in their hands and iPads, and Mark Zuckerberg, was blazing the trail when they were 8 years old and 9 years old. All they've ever known is this incredible world of possibility and technology and social connection and the social graph. And so, this was destined for that generation, to really be a part of, I think, in just incredible ways. And so I think Rippln is really providing opportunity for the marketplace right now to share in the billions and billions of dollars flowing through the technology companies. And that's going to change countless people's lives and create just an unbelievable amount of market, market value, and I don't want to call it jobs, because it's not jobs, but just, income streams and livelihoods for so many people. So, we're solving all these problems, and the last one that I'll talk about is really just distribution in general. If you look at the app market today, there's what's called a broken search and discovery mechanism, right? Meaning search and discovery is broken, meaning how do we find apps? How do we discover the hottest new apps in the market? And basically, if an app isn't in the top 100 in iTunes, guess what? It doesn't exist to you. It doesn't exist to me. We don't know how to find apps and hot new products if they're not top 100. And this is a humongous problem that so many people are working on solving right now, because there's amazing ideas, incredibly talented developers who have ingenious products that they're trying to get to market, and nobody can find them because search and discovery is broken. And anytime search and discovery is broken, there's tremendous opportunity in the marketplace. We've seen this over and over and over again. When you fix a broken search and discovery market, there's tremendous opportunity. And I believe Rippln could be a new distribution model to bring the hottest new apps to market. And we can really help get distribution for people-driven apps by people-driven distribution that rewards the people who drive them. And this is a whole new model for getting distribution in the marketplace, and could solve one of the biggest problems, which is, search and discovery. So those are just a few, multi-billion-dollar problems in the world that Rippln is solving. And like I said, the bigger the problem that you're solving, the bigger the reward. And we're all a part of this right now. So how are we different? Rippln is the first ever incentivized sharing technology platform. Okay? You've got to understand this because this is huge. We combine offline, online, and mobile distribution to reach audiences in a way no company ever has before. Plus, we give you the chance to participate. Let me give you some examples. If you look at traditional companies all over the news lately, you've seen Herbalife, right, which is a $4 billion company. And you look at traditional network companies like Nu Skin, which is almost a $2 billion company. These are enormous companies that have literally, paid hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in commissions almost annually in many cases to the distributors, to the people who drive the distribution for them. And those are mostly offline companies, right? Those are offline event-driven models. And then you come to the internet and you look at a company like Amazon, which revolutionized online distribution of products and services. And Amazon is a $100 billion a year company, right? And then you start to look at the mobile sector coming up, and you see, apps like Foursquare and Voxer and Instagram reaching hundreds of millions of users in record time periods. And so they're building mobile distribution channels for products and services in record time periods. And so you've got these three sectors, right? Offline, online, and mobile. And look at Rippln. Rippln is the first platform ever that combines offline, online, and mobile distribution to reach audiences in a way no company ever has before. And so I truly think that we are building the distribution channel for a new age. We're building the distribution channel of our times, and everyone, this is the first time ever that there's been an incentivized sharing technology behind these distribution channels so that no matter what way you're sharing, whether it's offline, whether it's online, whether it's mobile, all of that sharing is tracked back to you, and you have the chance to get paid for any value taking place within your network. This is fundamentally a huge concept that we're all at the absolute beginning of, and I think if you really get this, you'll see that this is the possibility for us to build an unbelievable income for ourselves. I mean, if you look at the types of incomes that the people who were at the beginning of, the largest offline distribution models or the largest online or the largest mobile, I mean, there's tremendous opportunity here for everybody to build a Ripple and get rewarded for the value in that Ripple. And we're just at the start. So where's the future going? As you really look at the trends, we've talked about this a lot, but it's staggering where this is going. Out of 7 billion people worldwide, 5.9 billion are already mobile phone users. 80% of the world's population has a mobile phone, which is just unbelievable. This graph right here just shows mobile phone users by percentage of population. And in countries like the Americas and Europe and many others, there's more phones than there even are people. And this trend is just going to continue to increase. As mobile phones and smartphones in particular continue to reach the developing world and so many other countries around the world, the possibility for apps and mobile engagement, this is the absolute beginning. I mean, there's going to be more wealth flowing through the mobile sector than the internet, ever even had the chance at achieving, just because, personal computers right now, there's about 2 billion people in the world that connect to the internet through a personal computer. And within the next few years, there's going to be 5 billion people in the world connecting to the internet through a mobile phone. And so much of our transacting and lives are going to literally revolve around the mobile phone. And Rippln is positioning you to be able to share these apps and share these products and share all this hot new technology as it comes to market first and foremost, and really be rewarded for that sharing and take a piece of all that money. So this is just incredibly exciting. And the second part that is something that is at the core of the Rippln vision is really gamification. And, we think that, well, I mean, we don't think, we're just observant. And when you look at the marketplace today, it's so apparent that we are gamers, that people by and large in society, we want to have fun. We want to enjoy what we're doing. We want to play. We want to be entertained. And so gamification is one of the largest trends currently taking place in the world. And when you look at mobile phone downloads, 80% of every single mobile phone download is a game already. It's a game already. And it's unbelievable how many people around the world are playing games and increasing more and more every year. And as gamification begins to leave the digital realm, it leaves just being an app or a game or on your computer or whatever, and all of a sudden it starts cracking over into real life. And we're already starting to see real life games, right? Where we're actually getting incentivized and rewarded for real life actions that we take and real life, challenges that we complete. And all of a sudden we're gaining points for sharing, products and programs with friends and doing this and doing that. The gamification of our real lives is coming next, and it's a way for us to really tap into, I think, the mainstream at large with Rippln. And by making Rippln a fun game you play to track your social graph as it spreads across the world and get paid for all the value taking place within it, who doesn't want to play a game to have fun, to get paid sharing apps and sharing cool new websites like we're already doing? And the possibility to really make it engaging and create an enormous entertainment value, it's already there. I mean, when you actually get to see your ripple effect spreading across the world, and you see that this isn't just some fake game, this isn't fake, numbers or users. Like when a new country opens up in your Ripple, that's a real person who just came on in the Philippines. That's a real person who just came on in Germany or Brazil. This is a real life experience, and it's exciting and exhilarating to watch your Ripple grow around the world. So we're just the start of where we can really take this in terms of the gamification aspect as well. And I'd like to just finish by saying our goal is to redistribute the wealth flowing through the technology industry back into the hands of the people who share these companies in the first place. And if you get this and you see the big picture vision of Rippln, this is what we need to share. This is what the world needs to hear. This is what we are really about. And that as people really begin to understand our vision, I think it's impossible that we won't continue to grow to reach hundreds of millions of people around the world, as this is a people-driven movement, a people-driven platform that rewards and puts the power back in the hands of us. It really is us, the people who are driving the marketplace, and it is our time to get valued the way we deserve to be. So my friends, it's very exciting, and stay tuned for video 3, where we're actually going to talk about how you get paid.